I literally just got back enough to just put that on while I was trying to study for the slate. And I did a little bit of studying in the car on the way back, but I literally just got back. I was shocked that we came back today. So,
all right.
Yeah. How you doing?
How's everything going there?
Going really well, actually. Unfortunately, we're probably going to have to go back. I'll probably have to go back down next week to get something done. But we'll see. As of right now, mostly things are going really well.
Good.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, if you didn't see, I did my circa million spread breakdown today. Also did the MMA breakdown today for DFS. I apologize for the noon early slate and the main slate breakdown. I had like 4 phone calls I was dealing with literally while I was doing it. So I do apologize to everybody for the not say unprofessional, but kind of a half-assed approach to today's slate. So hopefully we make up for it a little bit with this. But the main issue is what happens in Colorado,
which looks about 90. Oh, it's postponed.
Oh,
just now.
And there you have it.
Yeah, it probably already had happened.
And there you have it, because Raw just upgraded from like orange red to orange.
Let me double check because he's got it as postponed.
Oh, now it's no. I meant like when I say just, I mean like a half hour ago.
Oh no, I know. It's weird that let's just see. Yeah. Oh no, let me see something. Yeah, I think it's got to be postponed based on this. So that's going to change things in ownerships quite a bit, probably. I'd imagine. Although, to be honest, I think that most people probably thought that it was most likely probably not going to play.
But it's Colorado is very Colorado. They're very ambitious over there. They like to play.
Yep.
So there must be some really bad weather going on over there.
Yeah, they like to play, and the only thing is though that if they're totally out of contention, I don't know how much they do as much. 12 minutes ago, Scott McCartney says. So okay, so we both
nice,
very recent. Okay.
The other thing is that I can stay with you for a little while to do football. Probably probably until like 7:15 maybe.
That's when we're going to start, unfortunately. Me and Rody.
Okay.
Because he has to get home, so he's got a thing till 7. But we could do it. We could talk about it. What are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean, you and Rody probably have a little better rapport as far as the showdown slate goes, because you like to talk about how the game is going to go and stuff like that.
Yeah. You just are.
I don't give a crap how the game goes. I just want to get lucky with my. I just want to get lucky with my players.
It pretty much was tattooed. Although I didn't realize that somebody ripped me apart, like not ripped me apart, but like criticized in Discord for playing 2 defenses and how stupid it is, and how it can never work after the fact. And I'm like, well, it did work. Everybody who won had those defenses, and he said it works 2% of the time. And I'm like, well, if it works 2% of the time.
Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something where you're legitimately running like freaking Jesus in, and that would be in the betting streets.
What's that?
Would be that how good you've been running as far as the betting goes.
Oh, you mean? Oh, yeah, the betting index. Yes, yesterday was a push, but. It's been pretty great for baseball, I have to say.
So who do we like? What's your bet picks for today?
So today, I didn't end up getting to any. I mean, I didn't think I was going to make it back, and then I thought I was going to make it back, and then it was up in the air. I think that as an underdog to take a shot on the White Sox at home would be just because they're plus 160. I kind of like the odds. Not that I necessarily love them to win the game, but I think that it's plus 160 at home is pretty good. I like the Orioles here against Tampa Bay, and they're a slight favorite, but pretty close. And I really like the over in the Boston game.
All right, I'll tell you who's really running hot. Okay, so as you guys may or may not know, I mean, we're part of this other app called Better Takes, where you can track your bets and it'll tell you where you have an edge and where where your biases are and things like that. And it's still being developed. And Bobby actually posts like screenshots from there when he posts his bets sometimes. And and Steve, the CEO of the company, wanted me to test the some of these syncing and stuff like that on an iPhone, which I don't have. So I told him that I would have my I would use Stacy's, and I knew that Stacy had actually sports betting accounts back from when we set them up. But when they first went legal in New York, I basically bonus like a bonus for like my whole family pretty much.
Right.
And so she had an account. So we logged in to DraftKings, and she had like $8 in there, but the bet sync wasn't working. So we had to check with Caesars, see if she has a Caesars account too. And we had 87 cents in the Caesars account. So we wanted to put something in so that we could track the bets, we could test it. And we thought there'd be like $1 minimum, but no, they let us bet. So she bet 50 cents on Tampa money line yesterday. So it won. So she's got literally 100% like ROI for the year. So we're trying to figure out how to run that up. So it's now it's like $1. Now it's like $1.37 or something like that. So Mrs. Sheets is on fire in the freaking betting streets as well. So if I could talk her into doing some content, I will. But her that type of ROI comes with quite a price. So
yeah,
that's the report from the betting streets. And this is the stuff we talk about when there's just a showdown slate and 3 games on the MLB slate. So where it used to be, we have to. I'll put it to you this way. I don't know how much you studied, but where it used to be, you have to figure out how you're going to pivot off of Colorado and stuff like that, and that game. To me, I'm getting like, my new question is how I'm going to pivot off the Twins, because I'm getting like 1,000% Minnesota. Tell me what you think of the slate. I guess we'll focus on DraftKings, because I'm playing like some MME DraftKings, but on FanDuel I'm playing one lineup. What do you like tonight?
Yeah, I mean, there's logic for somewhat the Minnesota thing. If I wanted to play devil's advocate, which I always want to on these things, it's 65 degrees with a little bit of wind blowing in. It's not like here. So that's something. It is Urena, so naturally people are going to want to do that. I think I'd be playing Clark Schmidt as one of my pitchers first of all.
Okay.
I don't mind attacking this whatever Red Sox team. I mean, you have Devers, Verdugo. I mean, these are the non-strikeout guys, and everybody else strikes out. So I would take a shot with Clark Schmidt. I would actually be interested in the Yankees. And I also kind of like the lefties for Baltimore. But if there was one full stack that I was going to go on that I would expect not that many people to be on, even on a small slate, probably would be Toronto.
Actually sort of what I was looking for.
Yeah, there we go. Toronto. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna build a lineup right now. I have no lineups in because I didn't know if I'd be here. We're gonna play one Toronto lineup.
Well, I like that.
Toronto and Schmidt. You can't get a whole lot more different, I don't think, on this slate.
No, I don't think you can. What do you think? Oh, so what's his name? So Logan Webb is out. He's out of play. I like my favorite. What I'm going to do on FanDuel is I'm playing the one lineup there. I'm going to play Maeda on FanDuel.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'll let the other people take the free money with Gaussman. But I want to open up some salary, so I'm going to play. I'll play Maeda and see if I can't get enough from that.
Mm-hmm. You know what's interesting about the Gaussman thing? Like that's what I would look. It's a 4-game slate. If I was going to full stack a team, it would probably be Texas or Toronto. Both. I mean, Texas gets there every day, man. I don't care who they're facing. They just always.
Yeah, really, no kidding, right?
Oh, look, right on Scott McCarty's question. This is exactly what I was saying. I think that Texas is an interesting. I wouldn't play them in I'd play them in the large field. I really like the idea of playing Texas and Toronto both. So I would be trying to get exposure to both those teams personally.
Yeah, on FanDuel, my current build over there is Minnesota and Baltimore. That's my pairing, and I can't go 4-4 because I'm playing Maeda. So I'm looking for a kind of a one-off. Right now it's Springer, just because it's easy and it fits. But I actually thought of, because the 3-game slate, using like Robert against my pitcher. Just for fun.
Yeah. Wait.
By the way, I don't know if this is a stat that people follow. I mean, it is, but I don't know where to find it. So remember yesterday when I was talking about the Kansas City-Chicago game? By the way, Alec Marsh did okay. He could have done really well. He was like a couple of batters away from really putting up like 25 points.
I thought he was going to win me the other tournament. I actually had a chance with him in a couple of the stupid $44 tournament. I played a good amount of them. I liked it.
Yeah. No, but what I was going to say is that when I was talking about that game, I was saying, like, Cleveland should have a good game, but Kansas City is really good at like racking up these freaking runs late, and they did it again. They put like 4 runs up past the 7th or something like that. Now that just could be because they happen to be in probably division with like terrible bullpens, but I wonder if they track that stuff because listen, you do projections on. I guess they have to consider the bullpens when they talk about projections of hitters and stuff. But I wonder if there's like statistics saying like runs scored versus bullpen or something. I'm sure there is, right?
Run scored versus bullpen. Yeah. I can't pull it up right now, but I can definitely.
Because they're like maybe there's some teams, some hitters that are not that great against like good pitchers, but they're particularly not particularly good against terrible ones. I don't know. I just no,
that's a real thing. I mean, this has always been my anti-Mike Trout argument: is how do we know he's the best in the world when he's never had to face the actual best pitchers in baseball?
Oh my God, sorry.
So yeah, no, I think there's something to some of this, and again, just a 4-game slate. I just would remind people you really don't have to stack. If you want to stack, go ahead. That's fine. I really just don't think that you need to. If I did, it would be Toronto and the Yankees would be the two that I go after personally. Now, what do you do if you don't stack? There's some individual bats that I wanted to highlight. Like I said, low owned and guys who I like. Vlad and Chapman I like a lot, especially. Both good fastball hitters against Evaldi. I like Seager. I mean, look, you can't afford all these guys. I like Jonah Heim.
What did she's like? I dropped it at your house.
I like Gunnar Henderson, and I'll probably fade the Twins in the mega chalk of the Twins. That now that we don't have the Colorado game, that's what I would probably do.
Can I tell you something that happened today that there's no way you know about, but it'll make you. No, that would probably make you happy.
What's that?
Josiah Gray had 27 fantasy points on 10 strikeouts.
Nice.
Yep.
He's got it in him. Just depends.
He lost the game 2-0 because Keller pitched like a complete game shutout pretty much. Yeah. But he brought it. He had ready for this, Josiah Gray, 0 walks.
Yeah, see, this is what's going to happen in a couple of years. The problem is somebody's got to get him on a team that can get the lead. If they get a few runs, it's all of a sudden he can attack hitters instead of having to pitch perfect to stay in the game.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it.
I figured you'd appreciate that.
I do. Who's the top catcher on the slate in terms of ownership is going to be, well, it can't be Austin Wells because he's not catching. Can't be Patrick. It's going to be Jeffers, I guess. Yeah. But is he? No, he's not even in the lineup today. Is he? Something's going on. The projections are still trying to figure out what the hell's happening with this Colorado game.
Well, what do you mean?
They just don't make any sense. Not just the number, the what's it called? Just like the ownership. Like it doesn't seem to know who's playing. Right? All the highest owned players projected wise are not actually in the lineup.
Are not actually in?
Yeah, like.
Oh.
But it's not like our issue. It's just a site. It's a general thing. Yeah, Vasquez is catching for Minnesota. I'm actually curious who's going to be the chalk. I guess it's. I honestly have no idea who it's going to be. Rafael.
So it's a small slate. It's sort of ridiculous, but I'll just go over who my.
Talk about what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll go over my exposures. I'll just because I was pretty smart actually for once. I built 2 totally separate builds. One assuming a rain out and one assuming no rain out. So now I can I think I can quote what my exposures are actually. MLB. So I have majority of my pitching is Gausman and Maeda. This is DraftKings. And it looks as though, like I said, I'm going to be getting Yankees and the Twins. Those are my two main stacks. All of this is probably too chalky, but hopefully I could randomize it enough in the construction to get me a little bit different. Let me just see exactly what see. So I think I agree with you tonight. By the way, that maybe this is the night where I get a little kooky with my
builds.
So
Yeah,
like right now it's a little too pure. Like I have a bunch of 5.3s, 5.2s, 4.4s, and a 5.0s and stuff. And I'm getting 60% Minnesota, 40% White Sox, and then 35% Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, I just don't think that this is going to be good enough. Now, again, you have this Florial again just showing up. You know what I mean? He's 2,100 at the 5 hole. You know, so these are kind of cool. I have a couple of Yankee stacks with no Judge. I guess that's something.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you could do to be a little different, I guess. Some White Sox in my non-Maedas, Bradish. I mean, it's definitely not a great slate. I'll just put it down.
Yeah. It's rough, and I'm actually trying hard not to fully stack these games. Like somehow I keep ending up with a perfect Toronto 5-man. Maybe I'll just leave it.
Well, you know what? This is perfect because I have a very little Toronto, so this is like good. This is good site management. Like hopefully one of us will get it done.
Anything big, so I'll do it. I'm gonna do the Toronto. And let's see, this 5-man Toronto stack for the win. Can't lose.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, so I know I'm not going to be around to do the showdown thing. Give me a little something. Like give me your take on the Eagles running backs at least. How about that?
Okay. So I want to see who's actually. I don't think they've announced it yet. Who's officially in tonight?
It'll be Penny and Scott. I mean, you know what I mean. Those will be the guys.
Yeah, it's a weird thing though. Like who gets the more? So I like the Boston Scott for continuity. There's definitely a lot out there saying that they like that they think Penny's the better play. Okay, I'm going. We'll see. I mean, Penny's definitely the better play. But I don't know. I'm going to play probably more Scott. I don't know. I'm debating right now. My first build had Scott in it. I'm definitely going to have some Penny. So I don't really have a really strong take. I'm not 100% sure what they're going to do. Look, it's natural to assume that DeAndre Swift is their RB1, but the Eagles have never had problems using all 3 running backs.
No.
And playing 2 of them feels like a pretty good idea to me. So that's probably what I'll end up doing is playing 2 Philly running backs. And I love Devontae Smith as a captain tonight. I know he's going to have some ownership, but I am on Devontae Smith is, I said it before the season started. I think that first of all, I think he's a better receiver than A.J. Brown. Well, he's going to be a better receiver this year than A.J. Brown is my prediction. They're both awesome receivers, so it's not like a big knock on anybody, but I think Devontae Smith, this is the year he jumps up into the top tier and we start seeing really how good he is. So I'm very big on Devontae Smith as a captain. I'm also open to I love KJ Osborne here. I know people are going to play Addison, and I just think using a little bit more Osborne might make some sense. I think that using the backup tight ends, both Jack Stoll and Josh Oliver, is fair enough. Just to try, again, this is the name of the game, is to try and get different. So I'll probably end up with 2 Seattle backs, some combination of Jefferson, Madison, Smith, Brown worked around. I will play some Ty Chandler, who will be completely ignored on the other side.
Oh, you sure about that? You sure about that?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. There's no way people are playing him over the Eagles running backs, which looks much more like a running back by committee.
That's a good point.
Then I mean, if they are, then they're idiots. I mean, not idiots, but unless they're doing it to get different, there is really no argument for why you should play him over Penny and over Boston Scott.
Okay,
in my opinion.
I'm currently.
He had 1 carry last week, right?
I'm currently getting a decent, a reasonable amount of Chandler, like 15%.
Of who?
Of Chandler.
I'm sorry, Chandler. Sorry, I was jumping around trying to get my numbers. Yeah, I like that.
Now, what do you think of the? Now here's another I'll give this is my advice on showdowns as well. There's just an observation. Made this a bunch of times last year. So when people, especially hand building, or when they're trying to set game scripts together, especially when you have like a spread like this, and there's like kind of like an overwhelming consensus about what's going to happen, what people will do is they'll build lineups assuming that the Eagles win by 7, because that's what the spread is.
Yeah.
And they'll build lineups, upside lineups, assuming they win by 14. Like the big Phillies with the 5 ones with the 1 ups. But not that many people will go the other way.
I actually think that the other way might be more popular.
You think so?
Well, okay, maybe not. Maybe it should be, is I guess my take. Look, they're going to throw the ball a million times. Well, I don't mean just because of ownership. I mean just because of the way that they play. They throw the ball a ton. They have very affordable guys that, in addition to Justin Jefferson and Osborne and Addison. I expect Addison to be owned more than he's being projected for. I expect Madison to be owned more than he's being projected for. So maybe they won't, but maybe they should. I actually think, though, that people will play, looking at the ownership projections, it looks pretty close to me between both sides, actually.
I mean, I'm playing one lineup in the 222, and it is the most it's the most obvious kind of like non-obvious lineup. Like what I'm doing is listen, this is the way you talk through this, right? You do game scripts. Okay, so Darius Slay or whatever it is, the Philly will focus on trying to stop Jefferson. So I'll be so smart and I'll fade Jefferson, and I'll put Hawkinson in the captain, and then I'll do with Cousins and Osborne. So they'll do that, and then I'll play the main guys from Philly, and just kind of just deal with it. I even think that build is probably going to be really popular. Because again, a lot of people are saying the same thing, that Jefferson's overpriced, that Eagles will shut him down and stuff like that. I think that you want to be almost contrarian. I think you want to put Jefferson more in the cap. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't think he's contrarian about that.
Okay, you think he's going to be well owned in there?
I think he'll be the second highest owned. Actually, let me see real quick. Yeah, he'll be either he and Kirk Cousins will be second and third highest owned captains.
Okay. All right. So I'm
overthinking
this as usual, which is why I should just run these.
No. I mean, it's possible. Like, I mean,
I like my lineup. I like what I got. So you like the other guy more than Osborne?
I like Osborne. I'm saying that
like Osborne more than
the more obvious play is Jordan Addison.
Okay, so I'm not using him. I'm going to use Osborne instead. Okay, good. I feel better then. I think I'm okay.
Yeah. And I happen to like, particularly, I have a weird thing with Osborne that I probably like him too much. You know who I like as a captain option tonight? I really like TJ Hawkinson.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Oh, did you? Did I miss that?
That's my 222 captain.
Oh, well, unfortunately, I've got him in the 222 also.
Yeah.
He and Devontae are my two guys.
Yeah, I got a lot of Devontae Smith as well. I'm like such an idiot for not noticing this, but I mean, I was wondering why DeAndre Swift is going to be like so owned. He's like 2 cents. I didn't even realize this.
Wait, who? Devontae?
DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre? Oh yeah, no, they're all going to.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts with those guys. Yeah,
Boston Scott's been like printing for showdown since we've been playing DFS, man.
Yeah. Ugh. Now I'm having trouble getting a build that can.
And then I get to play. It's so funny. Like I just no matter who's playing, somehow Josh Oliver is on one of the teams in showdown.
Yeah.
Played him all those times at Baltimore last year. But now he's got actually a game log. He had like 3 targets and 3 receptions last game.
Right.
He's only 800.
For yeah.
You playing any of these other Eagles receivers? You playing Watkins at all? You're not playing enough lineups to play him.
I just am trying to figure out whether I would what's the value of even doing that? It's just I'd rather play. So he's a little more expensive, but I honestly think this is I don't mind leaving up to 5,000 on the table tonight. Maybe even.
Oh yeah.
I would leave up to. I might even go as high as like 7,500 if I was scripting it. I don't want to have Penny in all of my.
Who is Jalen Naylor?
Jalen Naylor.
Yeah, he had no targets last week against the Bucks. He had one tackle though, playing 18 snaps on special teams for the Vikings. It says he's the fourth receiver. It said that he's the fourth receiver on the depth chart.
Oh yeah. Like I hate these things when they're not necessary. I really don't understand.
I get it.
200 things when you don't need them. Like, what are we just left talking about leaving like 7,500 on the table, and now we're talking about $200 guys. I just don't.
Fair enough.
That's my only issue with it.
I'll go up to Chandler or something like that. I have Naylor in a lineup that's leaving 3,000 on the table. So I probably should.
You're in 3,000 on the table in the big one.
I could play Chandler. In the lottery.
God, yeah, in the lottery, yeah. I'm going to answer Rich's question about baseball. Pivot to Kenta at pitch. I don't know who you're pivoting off of. Maeda is pretty clearly one of the top plays, and I don't. And I am playing Toronto. There is no reason other than the ownership and the fact that I think that they have good fastball hitters and they're facing Eovaldi. It's not like I'm not going to say this is the optimal play to play them, but I am personally going to play them. Sorry, I wanted to touch on that before we kept going. All
right. Chandler, whoever that guy is. Okay.
How does this work?
I took Naylor out. I that's why we talked about this.
Yeah. All right, so if we go. The 800 that you liked was you're talking about Josh Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, I like whatever. He's just a freaking guy. You know what I mean?
I'll take a guy.
Cycle through, you know.
I'll take a guy every now and then. You want to play? Want to play one of those weird ones?
Josh Oliver, he's a guy.
The only problem is he got like a little bit of like. Remember, they threw the ball. What they throw it like 50 times on Sunday. They
might be throwing it 50 times today.
You're right. I should say that's unlikely to happen again. But this is the kind of game where they could. It just seems like, I mean. How did what's his name only have 35 yards receiving? He had eight catches for 35 yards for Hawkinson. Boy, Cousins. I'll tell you what. If anybody who thinks Cousins is good, please let's have a chat. I really want to understand what everybody else. The numbers are good. He's a great example of a guy who puts up actual numbers and who isn't a good football player.
You have any shares of Zacchaeus?
Zacchaeus?
Yeah.
How do you want to pronounce it? No. I'm not playing any of the 400. I do have a Josh Oliver lineup, but that's the
Zacchaeus. He had a full 7 offensive snaps last week. 7 snaps and no targets.
Who?
Zacchaeus.
Yeah.
7 snaps.
Yeah, 7 snaps. I mean, that's not nothing. I mean,
that's 7 snaps more than I had.
Yeah.
Or another way to say that's only 7 more snaps than I had.
So that means Cousins targeted his tight end how many times last week? 12. No, I'm not playing CJ Ham. I prefer Chandler to Ham. You could use Ham though. I think Ham's okay. That's another little different play. Yeah, sure. I changed my mind really quickly.
CJ Ham.
Little bit of CJ Ham. I think that's okay. Yeah. I'm more on the Tyson Chandler, the Ty Chandler play, but yeah, why not? I mean, in all fairness, they had basically the same workload, but that's partially because they couldn't block anybody. Look, Cousins. I do have a take on the game. I guess I'll say my overall.
Oh yeah. What do you think of the game?
I think the Eagles are going to win this game by like 30 points. I don't think this game is going to be remotely close. I think the Eagles are going to just absolutely smash them. I think that they are completely mismatched. I think the spread, to be honest, is actually too low at 6.5. I think it should be like 9.5. I mean, Tampa Bay just beat Minnesota in Minnesota. Just watch that happen. And everybody's like, oh my God, look at Cousins. He threw for 400 yards, and Jefferson had 190 yards or 200 yards receiving. They scored 16 points. They are the perfect team. They're a great PPR fantasy team. That's what they are. They are not a good football team. And even if they win tonight, I'm not going to shut my mouth. I'm not going to change my mind. The Eagles are significantly better at basically every position except for one. And their one, Justin Jefferson, is not as good as the Eagles too. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just cannot see it happening. I like the Eagles to cover easily. I kind of think they beat them like bad. Like it's like 30-14 or something like that. 36-14. I don't have a really strong take. I would usually lean towards the under on a total this high, but I feel like the Eagles are not going to have any trouble doing what they want against Minnesota.
For what it's worth, I don't know if people have made a big deal about this at all, but the Vikings center is out to add to the big discrepancy in the defensive line versus offensive line situation.
Yeah.
Which could help the Eagles defense like they need it anyway.
Yeah. The Eagles should have won that first. I mean, they dominated that the first. It's almost like they fell asleep afterwards in New England. They could have easily lost the game, which is crazy considering.
That was weird, right?
Yeah, it was just weird. One of those weird New England games. And then, Hurts played horribly. And they got away with it. And it was, they got away with a win in New England when Hurts was basically about as bad as he can be.
And this is their home opener. They're probably.
I think it's a smash. I really do. I would actually bet the minus 270, which in football is kind of something I would never normally do, but I really feel confident in the Eagles tonight. We'll see.
Well, just it's a matter of disclosure. I have Minnesota in the circa millions against the spread, but it has nothing to do with me liking them or not. Remember, what I'm trying to do there is just try to gauge like what's like really obvious and go the opposite. So I agree with you. It just seems to me like the Eagles just going to win by 30. So I'm just hoping that gets like a whole shit ton of ownership, and that's why I took the Vikings. I don't actually like them, but I just for this contest I just have to play.
Sure. I mean, look, it's if you want, that's definitely a way to go. I just personally,
we're saying completely different things. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I like them at all.
Right, I got you. No, I got you. And that is a big thing in weighing these things. Everybody thinks it's just about like picking. It's. By the way, that's such a hard thing to do against the spread. I mean, I saw Brave Jayhawk talking about he got crushed last week. He said,
in Survivor, he had 66 entries and 63 lost.
Yeah, that's and I saw that like a lot of places had just a million people who lost. And I was wondering what were the big picks last week.
What's that?
What were the big picks last week? Was it Minnesota?
Only like 25-30% of the people lost. So like Washington was the chalk and they won.
That's they should not.
They were the huge chalk because then I'll tell you why. I mean, it's just
I get it because they're I know their schedule. They're not going to get a better matchup.
Right, that's the thing. They have no future value. So this is like the only chance you had to take them as like a favorite like that. Yeah. So they were extremely popular. And then the ones that people played and lost was Minnesota home against Tampa, and then Seattle home against the Rams.
Yeah.
Those are the and that that took some people out. There were a couple of random Buffaloes that went down, but not that many people took them. A couple of them that went down, a couple of randoms and stuff like that. So it's just there's a lot of what's what I'm looking for. Disintegration, I guess. There's a better word for it. I'll figure it out. Literally, as soon as we probably stop recording, there's a lot of dilution, I guess, in as they or destruction as these things go on. So this week in Survivor, it's again another weird week because you have these big favorites like Buffalo and San Francisco and Philadelphia tonight, for example, and another team I think, but all of them and Dallas, for example. But the thing is that it's a constant battle because yes, they look like locks now, but there are so many opportunities to use teams like that later that they're not going to be like Buffalo is going to be really, really popular. But if you look at the board, you would see why, as opposed to say Dallas and San Francisco, while their win odds are the same, or Philadelphia too, there's just so many more opportunities to use them. That Buffalo is going to be just the huge chalk this week as far as the big favorites go. But kind of hoping that a whole bunch of people take the Eagles tonight and not because I think they're going to lose, because I do think they're going to win, but just to get people to burn them. You know what I mean? Is actually a big deal. So we'll see, but it depends on the pool.
Even as confident as I feel in the Eagles, I would not be using them tonight if it was me.
Okay.
I don't think I would. I mean, there's just going to be so many matchups there.
But that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. You have a team that's that good, you can just keep pushing them back.
Yeah, I would push them as far as basically until they face one of those other teams in the 12th, 13th, 14th week, something like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm excited about this next week. I've got, for those of you guys, me and Rhodey are going to go live at 7:15 or so to talk a little more football about the showdown, and then we're going to do a NFL position by position show for this weekend.
When, today?
Me and Rhodey are.
But you're doing it today, is what I'm saying.
We're doing it today. They won't see it till tomorrow. He's very weird about this thing. I think he's wrong about it, but it's okay. It's his thing. I told him he'll try it my way the first time. He doesn't want to record it live. He wants to record it on Zoom and then have it scheduled. And I'm like, all right, bro, you do that. I'm not doing it.
Well, why do you say that, though?
What's that?
What's his logic?
He says that it'll help with viewership, which I have no reason to think that is the case.
I just don't know anything about it, so
yeah,
I'm inclined to trust him just because whatever.
I talked to Kenny, who this is what he literally his other job is. He runs a company that does this.
So Kenny disagrees with him. I would go with Kenny.
No, Kenny said Kenny saw both sides, and I don't know. I'll talk to Kenny about it more, but he gets more on.
I just like live in case there are questions on there.
I agree. If you get people coming in, also sometimes people watch during the games, while they're on or whatever.
Yeah, and so tomorrow just kind of regular, and Sunday we'll do the 11 o'clock.
Yeah, tomorrow regular. I'm waiting on I'm waiting on from Will. I was talking to him till about 11 Eastern last night. We're gonna try and get some stuff done on the site stuff. Me and you should have a conversation sometime tomorrow, maybe before we go live.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'd like to talk to you about both positive and negative thoughts about that.
Yeah, the other thing is that just as a matter of transparency, because I'm not going to see you guys for the live show, I am leaving 1,100 on the table in all lineups. I'm just on this quest to just figure out how I can get unique and how I can get different. Using whatever tools I have at my disposal, and I'm going to try to leave some money on the table. I'm trying a lot of different things, and I'll report back and see how that goes. Unless obviously if we win, that's even better. But the goal is to get unique lineups that have a shot, and that's really what DFS is all about, right? To play low owned lineups that actually have a chance to win. So we will say I can play a low owned lineup. I can play both backup quarterbacks. Whatever.
Yeah.
But okay, so I guess I'm gonna go. Mrs. Sheets is making an awesome dinner, so I'm going to prepare to enjoy that. And listen. I'm hoping that somebody takes down the Millie in this thing, or in the NFL, or the 10,000 or 20,000 in the baseball. So good luck.
Yeah. Good luck, everybody.